Our next guest is truly optimistic about what's happening in the Missouri legislature, and that is Representative Brandon Ellington. I'm Joel Jensen, and we are coming to you from the Truman Library, which is a very historic and fun place to be.
Yeah, no, it's always nice to come here.
And it's always good to see you, too. So tell me why you're optimistic about what's all the hard work going on in Jefferson City.
Well, I was optimistic at the beginning of the session about what we actually could work on, some of the bipartisan issues that we could address, and some of the historical issues such as police interactions with low-income communities, and particularly so-called minority communities, that I believe we would be addressing. However, that has not been the case so far.
So your optimism is waning a little bit. How are you going to get it back?
Hopefully by getting more people infused in the political process, by coming up there, actually lobbying the legislators. And if we can do that, maybe we can see some bills that would benefit people. So far this session, what we've done on the floor is right to work. We cut people's unemployment benefits from 20 weeks to 13 weeks. We also did voter ID, so as opposed to expanding constitutional rights or finding ways to make it better for people that work, that fall on hard times, we have done everything that we could to create constitutional barriers and to make people's lives extremely harder.
Why is that happening? I mean, you're clearly opposed to it. Why do people, other lawmakers, think that that's the way to go? What are their rationale?
Is no rationale. Like with the unemployment benefits, when we had that bill on the floor, we was debating it, and now we're talking about people that work, people that have lost their jobs, and just because you lose a job doesn't mean you're a bad employee. So as opposed to finding ways to help them sustain themselves until they find a job, we want to cut it down to 13 weeks underneath the ideology that they're being lazy for not finding work, when we know that the job market is not conductive enough where you can lose a job and find a job within 2 months, regardless of your educational attainment. So there's no rationale behind it. The same with the voter ID bills. The ideology is that we're going to stop voter fraud, but when we look at the data, voter ID doesn't stop voter fraud, because the voter fraud that they're talking about is residential issues, voting absentee issues. It has nothing to do with voter impersonation at the polls. So there's no rationale at all.
Is it frustrating to you?
It's frustrating when we should be utilizing our time at the legislature to do things to improve everybody's lives, as opposed to creating barriers for people that are trying to work, lowering wages for people that work so corporations can benefit more and cut resources to employees. The same when we talk about protecting the Constitution. When we're elected, when we're sworn in every year, we swear to uphold the Constitution. And as opposed to upholding the Constitution, we try to find caveats that we can carve out to take constitutional rights and turn them into privileges, which is something in my opinion, we should not be doing.
All right, we have 1 minute left. Tell me something that you're going to offer up as a bill to try to make yourself optimistic again and restore faith.
With some of the bills that I currently have, I have the minimum wage bill to bring the minimum wage up to $10.25 an hour. I also have various law enforcement bills. One gives dualistic protections, which is the video and audio equipment, which protects law enforcement officers and it protects the citizens. Also have several different pieces for like citizen review boards, economic development grant program that would benefit pretty much everybody, in the small business loan program, which will allow small businesses to get the same tax credits and tax incentives that large corporations receive.
All right, we're out of time, but the session's not over, so you got time, right?
Now, hopefully.
All right, good to see you, Brandon.
No, thank you.
All right.